Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias. ¿Qué onda? ¿Qué tal? Hope everybody's good. On this beautiful morning, it's about 71 degrees out as the sun comes up. I'm gonna go for a nice morning ride this morning. I just got out of the gym, walked 4.5 miles at 3 miles an hour with a 6% grade. It was very good. Now we're gonna go for a bike ride. Tomorrow is my daughter's 11th birthday, or would have been Charlotte's 11th birthday. Would have had an 11-year-old daughter. My beautiful, beautiful girl. And she just passed away in June 26th at 7:04 p.m. Tomorrow I'm gonna go downtown for lunch at one of our favorite spots. She was a foodie, and one of her escapes from reality was food. She was really sick, and she couldn't do a lot. So, one of her vices became food, and I loved it. She made life so fun. My point is, she introduced me to birria tacos, or I think it's quesabirria tacos. And there's a place downtown called Plaza Mexico that has outstanding birria tacos. And her and I went there, and that's where one of the first couple times we had birria tacos. And we've had them a couple other places before, but that establishment is by far the best, or the best that we had found. And it was one of our favorite spots for daddy-daughter days for lunch. So I'm gonna take her a big bouquet of flowers tomorrow. And hang out with her for a bit. Hang out with her at her gravesite. But she loved food. All kinds of food, didn't matter. She just loved trying different recipes from all over the world. We were gonna go to Japan and South Korea. She really wanted to go to Tokyo and then go around different towns and cities in Japan, like Yokohama, Hiroshima, Tokyo, Kyoto. And then we were going to go to South Korea, go to all the nighttime street markets, go to Seoul. But she lived through food because she wasn't able to do a whole lot on her own. After the bone marrow transplant, she was in a wheelchair. Well, she actually couldn't even move for a while. she was finally making it to almost using a walker and with leg braces right before she passed. And then she got sick. Weeks up before she passed, we were trying out different chicken wing spots around town, and we were testing them and trying them out and rating them and reviewing them. That was one of our go-tos at night when we would get together. She'd be like, can we do a wing night, a daddy-daughter wing night? All flats, extra crispy. We got the order down, man. We got everything down. And fillets, when it came, she loved steak. Fillets were her favorite. And after a while of practicing, I started becoming to be able to make a really good fillet with searing it on the stove, searing it and then putting it in the oven and bringing it up to temperature. And she would always, every time we would make a steak, she'd be like, this is the best one yet, this is my favorite. Her favorite dish was steak, medium well, because she was so sick, she couldn't really have any pink. But I got very good at getting it right a couple degrees before, right as there was just a hint of pink in the center that was still acceptable, so that it was still super juicy and tender. But it was filet, broccoli, and brown gravy. That was her favorite meal from me, and it had to be made by Dad. She made me a better cook. I mean, I got into cooking and baking because of her and I, like doing stuff and practicing things and getting better. But I'm gonna go hang out with her tomorrow for a bit. My big girl, my young lady. She was starting to become a young lady, having, girl stuff. Whoops, I didn't mean to hit that pothole or that drain opening. But yeah, my Charlotte, I love you so much. And I miss you every day. I just put these videos out in the ether on a server somewhere. And like I've said before, if anybody ever, even if one person watches this and you're like, man, even 1%, if it brings you even 1% of anything, then that's good. And I hope you have a good day, and I hope everybody has a good day. And thanks for riding along with me. Just chilling, going for a ride, just vibing out. I'm just clearing my head, or trying to. There's not a day that goes by that I don't cry at some point. My daughter and I were inseparable. We were a team, man. I had her back 100% and she had mine. tried to be the best dad, the most supportive. She was so cool. We would listen to audiobooks. We were listening to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy when we were in the car. And then when she was in the hospital, we would, let's go this way because people will fucking run you over, man. This last time we were in the hospital, when she got sick, she had asked me previously if she could start reading the Imperium, The Fourth Wing. And at the time, this was before we're in the hospital, I had said, maybe we might want to wait till you're like 12. Like, let's wait 2 years because it has some sexual content in it, which isn't a big deal. I just thought it probably might be a little bit more appropriate to wait till she's almost a teenager or getting into that young adolescent phase. But anyhow, when we're in the hospital, and they said how sick, once we realized how sick she was, I went and bought a really nice Bluetooth speaker and brought it into the hospital, and I was like, we can start listening to it, babe. you can be her, you can be Violet, that dragon rider, and just lose yourself in an imagination and let this book just take you away from here, so you're not watching the hospital movies for the millionth time. Let her mind take her away into a different universe. Because if she wasn't going to leave the hospital, what does it matter? I'd rather her experience it and listen to it, or at least start listening to it like she wanted to, than not be able to fulfill that for her. And so that's what we did, and we actually got through the first book. I think we got through the first half of the first book, which was like 12 hours. Before she passed. And she always told, and before, I knew she had been looking into it and stuff, because she was always bring up, there was a couple of plushies that she had this one plushie that she named Andarna, which is the name of one of the small girl dragon, one of the main character dragons in the story, and I just love her. I miss her so much. I miss her so much, Char. But we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna get lunch at Plaza Mexico. Try to have a good day. I'm definitely gonna take a bunch of mushrooms. Probably go for a long bike ride again, because it'll be awesome and lovely and wonderful. Actually, we can just go right through the grass. But man, Dublin Roasters isn't busy for once. This place is usually packed to the point you can't get into the parking lot. And today is another day of trying to not drink, because not that I don't want to drink, it's because I'm trying to lose as much weight as possible. And when I drink, it's like it stops my weight loss progression. I don't really gain weight, but I also don't lose any. And so today is now day 2 of resetting, of not trying to drink. So we'll see how that goes. Or no, today's day 3. Today's day 3. The start of day 3. And we'll see. I know I'm gonna drink tomorrow at lunch on Charlotte's birthday. I know I will. I plan on it actually, so, but then we'll stop again. And we used to play. She was, when I say she was my sidekick. She was also my first mate. We would go, her and I would play video games together. That was, when you're not very mobile, video games are a really good escape from reality. And one of the things we would do together is play Sea of Thieves. And you have to, Sea of Thieves is very involved, where you practically sail the boat by pulling the sails down, moving the lines, steering the boat, having your anchor, catching the wind, all the things, using a compass. And her and I would go sailing together and go find treasure and hunt skeletons, and man, it was so much fun. And she would always go, "Aye, aye, Captain Daddy," or "Aye, aye, Daddy." And I would be like, "My first mate, there's my first mate," And I have a hard time looking at a lot of video games now because, we played a lot of video games together. Like Sea of Thieves, and another one was Final Fantasy 14. And I can't even, there's no way I can play Final Fantasy ever again. Her and I played Final Fantasy together so much. And she would play Slime Rancher, and I would play Final Fantasy, and we would so I built her a gaming setup, and we were right beside each other. And so there's a lot of times, all the time, when we were playing games, she would sit beside me, and she'd be on her computer in her gaming chair playing Slime Rancher, or any of her other games she liked to play. And she would always be like, "What are you doing on Final Fantasy?" Oh, and I would show her, and she would love it. And then there's a cactus called Sabatendor. What's his name? Now I'm not going to be able to Senor Sabatendor. He's like a butler cacti in the gold saucer, and he walks around and does this really cool pose. And we would always go to the gold saucer and play games like the jumping puzzles and the different coin games and stuff. And while you're waiting, this guy walks around and he stops and does this dance pose. And so we started going, "Senor Sabatendor," and then doing the dance pose. and then we would just look at each other in public sometimes and be like, "Senor Sabatendor," and it would always make her laugh. I really miss her laugh. I'd cut my own arm off to hear her laugh. Hell, I'd kill somebody to hear her laugh. I'd sacrifice this whole fucking town to hear her laugh. You know, when your daughter dies, a midlife crisis doesn't happen. It doesn't mean. My friend told me, like, we were hanging out the other day, and he's like, he just made this joke comment that he's like in the middle of a midlife crisis, and I thought about it, and I was like, that doesn't exist to me. I'm like, man, I can't wait. Like, I'm so not afraid to die or of death or of being dead. Like, it would suck to drown, sure, you know, or to burn to death. But man, I am not afraid to be dead. And not because I think I'm gonna see my daughter again or reunite with her, but mainly for the simple fact that she's not here. She's not here with me. And life is not the same, and it's never gonna be the same without her. And I have to get used to that. But I don't want to die right now. It's a weird feeling of wanting to die, but not wanting to kill yourself at the same time, because I also understand how beautiful a gift life is, and how I'm gonna die eventually anyway. And whether I see Charlotte or not, which I don't think I will, seeing death so intimately, and then hearing what people, and experiencing it, and then hearing what people talk about after the fact, it's like, no way, there's no logical way that there is some magical place. And so because of that, I know how precious life is and how great and beautiful life is supposed to be and is. And so I know I just need to enjoy it, even though the rest of it is going to be an incredible struggle. I'm going to die anyway one day. And so I don't need to shorten it needlessly. I don't need to shorten it needlessly. But you know, I can definitely share when I have a new perspective, or at least a darker perspective on psychic readers. You know, I've thought about it. It popped up in my mind since my daughter passed. And thinking about it now from that lens and that logic, how insulting and rude and disrespectful is it really for someone to pretend that they can communicate with your dead loved one, to manipulate your emotions, and to say so and so, or they feel this, they say this or that, or any degree of that fuckery. To say that you can communicate with my dead daughter, or not my daughter, but someone's dead kid, like that to me infuriates me. For someone to have the audacity, the gall to be like, I feel her, this and that, because it's such bullshit. Because if my daughter was communicating, trust me, she would have communicated with me somehow, I promise you. And for some random fucking retard to be like, I feel your daughter is in a good spot, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, miss me with that bullshit, motherfucker. That is so disrespectful. To manipulate emotions and feelings like that, that is fuckery. And the only way I can justify it in my head is the fact that people seek it out. Like, people that are in grief, or whatever reason it is, they go themselves to seek it out, to get those answers, to feel some sort of comfort. and they are the ones that believe it. I'm just giving my perspective from how I'm viewing it. So I really can't fault anybody who goes and does it, because that's their choosing and that's what they're seeking for what they want to do. But on the other side, the person doing it is essentially a fucking scammer. And it's ridiculous to me. But tomorrow morning, I'm gonna take a big ass thing of flowers to my girl. I'm gonna hang out with her, lay on the ground beside her. We're gonna have a day. Then I'm gonna chill. Go for a walk, go for a bike ride. Listen to some music. Maybe try to go meet some, that's definitely not, nope. I was like, oh, maybe we'll go out, socialize. I'm probably not gonna want to do that tomorrow. Maybe Saturday. But I hope everybody has a good day, a good weekend. The fair's in town, in downtown Frederick. That's always a decent time. The food is always really good and super unhealthy, but it's a good guilty, a good time, you know? So, let's get across this green Lizzie light. So yeah, thank you everybody. Let's go dual motor. We need some juice. Turn right here, bro. So again, thank you everybody for going for a ride with me this morning, hanging out with me. Hope you have a great afternoon, a great evening, a great morning. If you're mad, try to be happy, try to smile. Try to be thankful, even if there's nothing to be thankful for. You're at least alive. At least at this very moment, you're alive if you're listening to me. So, have a great day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Charlotte, happy birthday. I love you so much. And I'll see you soon too. See you guys. Peace.